Today, we're lucky to have the most popular investor on Etoro. He's the CEO of Crypto 101, author of Crypto Revolution, and he wanted to share his knowledge with us in the crypto community. So everyone, please welcome Kevin Stanley. Hey, Kevin, how are you doing?
Doing very well. It's a great day here in San Diego. Couldn't be more excited.
You're someone that's a popular investor on Etoro. How did you, gain so much success in that community? Is there some things that you did to do that, Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a a rather obsessive personality, and anything I put myself. I have to be careful of what I commit myself to. And because when I do commit to something, I go, head over heels. Just I go all in, and that's kind of what I did with eToro. Just kind of, was really kind of active. Kind of trying to learn the platform, understand the platform, understanding the content and information that people wanted. Of course, that's with like eToro, and then there's the other aspect of my background and like my other true love, which is of course researching and investing in cryptocurrencies. So um, yeah, so like I said, I just kind of put myself out there, was really active in trying to understand what people wanted from a content perspective, and then also really just try to make my track record speak for itself and my performance. So luckily, eToro is very transparent with how you do month over month. So it's really important to to do the best you can and try to outperform benchmarks.
That makes sense, Kevin. You mentioned a couple of things, the sense of, what did people want? Like, what are the type of things you're sharing with your community, right? Like, we know it's a social investing platform. Are there some kind of conversations that you're having with people within your community, Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely. I try to just put myself in the audience's shoes. So what is if I was at different times in the market or at different times of the day. The crypto market ebbs and flows like just crazy, or unlike really any other market, and most notably unlike any market because it trades 24/7. So there's no real traditional open and closes and downtime. So if I was I was just trying to think about what if I was a typical investor in the crypto markets. What kind of information would I want right now? If the market's down, do you want an explanation of why it's down? Do you want to know where I think it might be heading next? Whatever it is that I think that an investor might want to like hear or know. That's kind of the content I try to put out to just kind of answer those questions that might be lingering in people's heads.
Yes, let's drill down on that a little bit more. So obviously, as you kind of mentioned, like what information people want to know, without getting to like specific securities or currencies. When you're looking to invest in a project and doing your due diligence research, what are some of the things that you look into? What are some of the metrics that you look into to understand if this investment will have legs for you? What do you kind of look into there, Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely. And the first thing I think that's important to do for any investment. You got I start by like zooming out, right? Like whether it's I look at the high level 10,000 foot perspective of that particular investment. So first thing I want to know is like what are the like any particular macro environment type things that might be driving it, whether it be big news events, news stories, trends that are happening within the cryptocurrency industry, and actually with outside the cryptocurrency industry as well, like just macroeconomical trends, macro geopolitical trends. All those type of things certainly drive trends in investment. So and then I'm also going to look at that kind of a higher level overview of the investment itself, whether it's looking at the company's roadmap, their plan, their vision, the problem they're solving, and then I'll start to get narrow into the. I'll kind of start to zoom in, kind of start zoomed out and then zoom in and look at a lot like tighter time frames. Is now a good time to get in, and then try to get under the hood of like the team who's driving the project. I also like to I'm rather like well connected in the industry at this point, having been to conferences and traveled the world, and with the podcast and the companies I run. So also we have the digital currency summit. So I have the benefit of having a lot of connections in the industry. So I like to also pick up the phone and hear other people, and have people challenge my investment thesis and my opinion on certain coins to see if I can um, you know get any feedback from other brilliant people, whether it's hedge fund managers, founders of other cryptocurrencies, you name it. I try to pick other people's brains as well. and have them kind of challenge me a little bit on the investment.
I like that. A couple parts I really like. The top down approach that you mentioned that you take, which I think is something that I use a lot, and you going to other places to see if your thesis could be challenged. That's actually a critical part that people, don't look at when they're investing because they don't like to, we always like to be right. Like we have our bias baked into our investments, but it's good to sanity check yourself every once in a while, Kevin. So it's great to see that you do that. Now, an interesting question. You mentioned you have a large community. A lot of times you can't please everyone, especially when you're giving out information and everyone has different perspectives coming in. What are some big frustrations that your community has expressed when it comes to, let's go specifically in crypto, like information you're giving in crypto? What are some frustrations that people in your community have expressed, Kevin?
Yeah, I think it's the crypto is volatile.
Yeah.
There are insane insane swings up, and there's also insane swings down. And I find that oftentimes people have they tie their emotions, their confidence about crypto to the
Mm,
prices,
mm,
and I think it's really important to have to understand why you're investing in this.
mm,
I'm guilty for myself for like when I first started getting into crypto years and years ago. It was kind of like purely for like kind of a financial gain, and I kind of just because like I knew a little bit, but the more I learned, that's what kept me going through
mm,
the ups and downs. And when the market's down, I personally, I think that's an opportunity to celebrate because you have an opportunity to get in,
mm,
lower. But I can have a frustration that I've seen amongst other investors is, the market's down and they think that it's kind of the end of the world or it's just going to keep going down forever, and they sell and they're kind of quick on the trigger. And I think if you have a more fundamental like an understanding of how big of a problem the many cryptocurrencies are solving, then it kind of you're not so worried about the short term fluctuations in the price. And especially if you once again zoom out and you look at like Bitcoin, being one of the best performing assets of all time, it's like there's been countless 20, 30, 40, 50% drawdowns, but if you had anybody held throughout like an extended period of time, you would have more than likely done quite well for yourself. So
exactly, Kevin. And while we don't have a crystal ball, nor can we say what happens when prices are up or down, we do encourage, like you mentioned, everyone doing their due diligence because we do not have that crystal ball to be able to say what Bitcoin or any specific currency or digital asset will do in the near or short term. So research is important there, Kevin. So that's a great point that you make. I guess lastly, where can people find you? Socials? How do people tap in to what you're doing, Kevin?
yeah, absolutely. You can check me out on Twitter, K Stanley _ 101 or 101.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. This is really insightful. Appreciate your time and for joining us from San Diego. We'll be tapped into what you're doing, and thank you very much, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We'll see you tomorrow.